Before you guys sit down and watch my Bleach review, make sure and check out the awesome videos we made when we went to MomoCon, which was this really awesome anime convention in Atlanta, Georgia. We have some great montage footage for you guys so you guys can see a lot of the cosplayers and all the stuff that was going on there. We even have some interviews, so we'll put a link to those in the annotations above and in the description box below. What's up, guys? It is Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and welcome to my review of Bleach, Chapter 530. Now, this week, a lot of Shonen Jump series were on break, like Naruto and One Piece, but we still got a really badass Bleach chapter this week, and a lot of really interesting things happened. There was some cool action towards the end. There was a mysterious character who was shown. We even got a little more information about Masaki Kurosaki. So let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, Captain Shiba is running around the city with these two random Shinigami. They're still looking for this threat that's picking all of them off one by one, and they're still trying to draw this guy out, whatever it may be. It's definitely hinted that it's something that Aizen created, or maybe something that Aizen had something to do with. And I like that because it definitely was hinted at last week. Maybe it's going to show that what was happening wasn't just to show us what's going to happen in the future. Maybe it really does have some stuff and some credence in the past. Now, before they get any more into that, we finally get to see a little bit more with Masaki Kurosaki, and we get to see a lot more of her character, more than I think we've ever seen in any chapter before, and she is a total goofball, just like Captain Shiba. And, I like her. She's really funny. She's really tenacious. And interestingly enough, she's one of the last surviving Quincy, along with the Ishida family. So her auntie is essentially the mother of Ryu Ishida, who is the father of Uryu Ishida, who is Ichigo's friend. So a few things are starting to fall into place here, and essentially what's going on here is the mother here is trying to set up Ryu and Masaki to be married, and this is going to open up a whole new can of worms with the Bleach fans, because I know how much you guys love these pairing wars. However, it's pretty obvious here that Ryu doesn't really care too much about Masaki. However, he does care about her happiness. He doesn't just want her to go away or anything, but he doesn't want to, force her into this marriage. However, Masaki herself doesn't really seem like a typical Quincy. She's, like I said, very goofy, and she doesn't really seem to care much about her training. She seems to care more about what she gets to eat for breakfast. And again, I just think that's a very funny character trait of hers. But we cut away to that, and we finally get to the stuff at the end of the chapter that was just pure awesomeness. We get to see that they're still waiting to see where this enemy is, and they're trying to draw them out. And Captain Shiba has this really great plan where he decides, well, they want two things. They're either trying to pick us off, or they're trying to steal our Reiatsu and our energy. So let's just try and powering up and see if that'll bring them out. And he does this, and right after this, you can see that his two other Shinigami are watching, and they're like, what the hell's going on? And then in the next panel, there's this really great shot. You get to see this dude's face is literally cleaved in half and then slammed up against the wall, and there's this blood all over the place. It's brutal as shit, and Captain Shiba's like, oh god, what's going on? And then you get that awesome Reiatsu power-up that's appearing right behind him. And then the final panel is where you get that badass shot of this weird Hollow or Rancor who has these bladed arms. And come on, guys, look at his face, look at his horns. This is clearly something that has to do with Ichigo. He looks just like Ichigo's super hollow form. And I'm sure this is no coincidence. And this is where the chapter comes to a close. And there's not even going to be a chapter next week, so we're going to have to wait a really long time to figure out what the hell's going on here. But as a Bleach fan, I am incredibly happy with this chapter. All of the little character moments, in particular, those from Ichigo's mother were really appreciated because we've never really seen her before, and I like watching her. She's not a very stereotypical, female character that you see in these series, and, I expected her to be a little more serious, and I kind of like the fact that she's kind of goofy. The whole stuff with her and Ryu, like I said, that's going to open a can of worms for a lot of people. But I really don't think it's going to go south too much because you can actually see in the past we've seen Shiba and Ryu interacting, and they seem to be on pretty decent terms. So I don't think there's going to be like some sort of love triangle going on here. The whole thing at the end with the weird hollow Vizard thing, whatever the hell that thing is, maybe it's in a Rancor, it definitely has something to do with Aizen. It looking like Ichigo's form. There's no coincidence there. There's clearly a reason for it, and I'm sure they're going to get into that a little bit more. But it looks really, really cool. It really made for an interesting chapter at the end. And I'm wondering if this is the point where Masaki's actually going to come in and actually save Shiba. I don't know if that's going to happen yet, or maybe it's going to happen a little bit later. What is interesting to say is this is one of the coolest flashback arcs that I've actually seen in Bleach, and one of the more interesting arcs that I've actually seen in the series altogether. So much so that I don't even really care about what's going on with Zero Division anymore. I just want to see more of this. I just think it's really, really good. So for me, as a Bleach fan, I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. It's just absolutely perfect for me. All the artwork was great. There was a little bit of cool action at the end. You got that badass final panel. We're starting to learn about a few more characters. I mean, this is kind of a must Bleach chapter, so you guys need to definitely check it out. It's really good. So how did you guys feel about the reveal of that crazy creature at the end of this week's chapter? You can let me know with your comments below. And remember, guys, as always, make sure and hit that like button, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps them out a lot. That concludes this review today. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.